What if the sweetest love story you've watched this year didn't come from a script, but from a single two-word post? One moment, Yulong and Yang Miemie were just co-stars. The next, the entire internet was screaming, "Wait, is this real?" Because what Yulong said on Weibo wasn't loud, wasn't dramatic, but it landed like a lightning strike. And tonight, we're unpacking why millions of fans across China, and increasingly around the world, felt like they were watching fiction become life in real time. Hengdian Short Drama Night looked like a standard industry gala, but the emotional temperature in the room said otherwise. Short drama stars rarely stand in a spotlight this bright, so the red carpet felt less like a routine appearance and more like a proving ground. Every glance was magnified, every movement interpreted. When Zhu Yue and Bai Xindia shared two affectionate kisses, fans didn't read it as performance. They read it as relief, a couple no longer hiding behind a script. Then Yulong and Yang Miemie stepped forward, and the night tilted. Their cheek kiss was small, almost quiet, but that softness was the shock. In a world where celebrity romance is often framed through marketing or controversy, a tender, unforced gesture can hit harder than a grand announcement. It looked like something that belonged to them, not to the cameras. That is why the reaction was immediate. People felt they were witnessing real intimacy slip through the machinery of show business. Within minutes, the conversation online shifted from clothes and staging to a single question. If they were only acting, why does this feel so true? The carpet became a mirror for a wider hunger. Audiences want romance that breathes, imperfect, instinctive, human. Hengdian offered a glimpse of that, and the glimpse spread faster than any press release because it felt like a shared discovery. For many viewers, it wasn't just a cute moment. It was the start of a story they'd secretly hoped was real. Short dramas operate on a different rhythm from traditional television, and that rhythm quietly changes the way relationships form. These projects are filmed quickly, released quickly, and usually depend on repeated pairings to keep viewers attached. Instead of one long production stretched over months, actors meet again and again in compact, emotionally intense shoots. Each story demands closeness on command, confession scenes, heartbreak scenes, reunions that feel like second chances. When that happens repeatedly, the body learns the language of comfort. Yulong and Yang Miemie are the clearest example. Working together on around 24 micro-projects in roughly 2 years isn't casual collaboration. It's a shared creative life. Fans watched them perform every shade of romance across different settings and characters, and the emotional repetition created a kind of continuity. Even if each plot was fictional, the partnership was real. Over time, the eye contact becomes easier, the timing becomes instinctive, and the distance between role and self gets thinner. Viewers can sense that thinning. They notice the micro-moments that don't belong to a script, a laugh that arrives too early, a hand that reaches automatically, a gaze that lingers after the director calls cut. Short dramas by nature are intimate. They don't just show people falling in love. They rehearse the gestures of love so often that sometimes those gestures settle into genuine feeling. That is why audiences are fascinated. The format doesn't guarantee real romance, but it creates the conditions where it can grow quietly. And when it does, the line between screen and life feels almost beautifully inevitable. The obsession with Yulong and Yang Miemie isn't only about celebrity gossip. It's about a romantic narrative that audiences recognize instantly, because it lives in contrast. There's the visible difference, his calmer, more mature aura meeting her bright, youthful energy, plus the noticeable height gap that makes them look like a classic on-screen pairing. But the pull runs deeper than aesthetics. People read contrast as story. Two rhythms of life finding a shared tempo. Yulong projects steadiness. He rarely performs devotion loudly. He shows it through a quiet presence that feels protective rather than possessive. Yang Miemie brings lightness, quick emotion, playful warmth, the kind of openness that softens a room. Together, they form a balance audiences crave. Stability that doesn't turn cold, joy that doesn't float away. Their chemistry feels effortless because it looks like mutual regulation. He grounds her, she brightens him. That dynamic crosses cultures, which is why viewers from Asia to the West latch on so quickly. There's also a psychological comfort in their naturalness. In an era where public relationships often feel transactional, a couple that appears instinctive gives fans permission to believe in ordinary love again. Not perfect love, not branded love, Just two people who grew closer through shared work and shared trust. Every small interaction then becomes meaningful, because fans aren't simply watching romance. They're watching a kind of hope, that tenderness can be slow-built, that compatibility can appear in everyday collaboration, and that love doesn't require spectacle to be real. That hope is what keeps their story alive in people's minds. For a long time, Yulong and Yang Miemie stayed in the gray, careful space most public figures choose. Close co-stars, no labels, no promises to the audience. In an industry where rumors can derail careers and attention can become invasive overnight, that caution was a form of self-protection. Their denials didn't feel defensive. They felt like boundaries. They kept delivering convincing performances while asking the public to let their private life remain theirs. What made the eventual reveal so powerful was exactly that restraint. Fans had already collected countless quiet moments, behind-the-scenes glances, easy comfort, smiles that arrived before anyone asked for them. Still, without an official line, everything remained conjecture. The story lived in a suspended state where viewers balanced skepticism with affection. Then July arrived, and Yulong broke the suspension with almost startling simplicity. No lengthy declaration, no glossy rollout. Just 2 words on Weibo, "Oh yeah," followed by an image that needed no translation. A kneeling proposal, a ring in hand, a vulnerability he didn't try to disguise. The understatement made it feel less like a brand announcement and more like a human decision to stop hiding. Yang Miemie's response, "I said yes," completed the arc in the same quiet key. No theatrics, no teasing. A simple confirmation that turned years of shared work into context rather than rumor. People weren't moved just because it was romantic. They were moved because it was honest. And honesty in celebrity life is the rarest kind of surprise. The scale of the public reaction tells you this wasn't only about an engagement. It was about emotional timing. Across cultures, audiences are growing tired of relationships that feel engineered for clicks. They've watched couple marketing become a strategy, and they're quick to sense when romance is staged. So when a love story appears to have grown quietly, then surfaced without spectacle, it feels like water in a dry season. Short dramas amplify that feeling because they are already intimate. Their close-ups, rapid pacing, and everyday settings make viewers feel as if they're stepping into someone's private world. People don't consume microdramas like distant television. They scroll them, rewatch them, and share them in tight online communities. The actors feel near. So when those actors reveal a real bond, the audience experiences it less as gossip and more as a collective milestone. There is also hope embedded in the response. People want to believe love can survive pressure, that tenderness can exist inside competitive workplaces, and that 2 adults can choose each other without turning it into a performance. Yulong and Yang Miemie became symbolic of that hope. Their announcement felt like a small victory for sincerity in a space that rarely rewards quietness. Most importantly, their story doesn't present itself as perfect. It's 2 artists navigating work, attention, and affection in real time. That human scale invites empathy instead of cynicism. Viewers aren't only celebrating a couple, they're celebrating the idea that real feeling can still appear under bright lights and stay real even after the cameras notice.